Yeah.
You are listening to The Black Landscape with Andrea Spearman, where Black excellence is always trending. Hello and welcome. I'm your host, Andrea Spearman, and this is The Black Landscape, where we engage with emerging and established Black leaders here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to leave a 5-star review of the show on Apple Podcasts. Hey, I'm Andrea, and I'm a light-skinned Black woman with my dark brown hair pulled up into a high bun today. I'm wearing my pink glasses and a green dress with yellow patterns. Today, we're here with our guest, Bosko Kante. Please describe yourself to the people.
Yes. I am a light brown skinned Black man wearing glasses and a black HiiiWAV t-shirt with white lettering. HiiiWAV is spelled H, capital H, and 3 small lowercase i's, and a capital W, capital A, capital V. I'm hanging out in my workroom with my son's cello in the background and a couple of guitars.
Great. Welcome. Bosko, it's so great to have you on the show today. I've been trying to get you here, recruit you for a minute. So yes. I'm glad I got you here. Finally.
Good to be here.
Yes. And for those who may not be familiar, just give a brief description of what you do here in the community.
Yes. Brief description is I run HiiiWAV, which is an incubator focused on supporting Black musicians in building businesses that provide value to their fans, especially using cutting edge technology like artificial intelligence and augmented reality. We also have a physical space, 2781 Telegraph, where we host community events, live performances, workshops and panels, recording sessions for the community. And it's a safe space where we can share ideas and encourage each other. And it's my mission to provide or help create the best ecosystem in the world for artists right here in Oakland.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's go back to the very beginning. Like, describe your childhood growing up.
Yeah. So I was born in Ghana. I came to my parents met in Ghana. My mom was in the Peace Corps. They got married. They had me. We all moved to Portland, Oregon, where my mom was from, not long after I was born. So I didn't spend a lot of time in Ghana. Grew up in Portland, loved it. I was always into math and science. And music. Came from a musical family. Everybody in my family played an instrument. My mom started teaching me piano when I was like 7. And then I started learning trumpet not long after. We'd always play instruments at holidays. Like my mom would play French horn. My grandmother would play trumpet.
The French horn. Come on.
Yeah. My grandfather would sing. My aunts would play different violin and trumpet, cornet.
These are classical instruments. Come on, family.
That's right. Surrounded by music and math. My mom was a civil engineer. My grandmother was a math professor at Portland State University. I grew up playing math games. We would, instead of like playing other kinds of games, we would play math games and learn about math. And so I had a math and science foundation on top of a musical foundation. And those two things, I wanted to be an engineer when I grew up. So I did really well in school. Initially, I was like an average student up to like second grade. I always remember one of my teachers said that I tried too hard and I shouldn't try so hard because I was just an average student. But then I think it was third grade, I had a teacher named Mr. Smith, and I got into this class that you could kind of go at your own speed, and I was competitive. And I went from like a second or third grade reading level to a sixth grade reading level in one year, and I kind of never looked back.
Yes. See, why they holding back your greatness?
You know, they don't want me to be great.
Why be average when you can be excellent?
That's right. That's right. So I ended up being a straight A student in middle school and my high school valedictorian.
Oh, okay.
I got full ride scholarship, academic. I got accepted to Stanford, Portland State, Washington, University of Washington, University of Oregon, and I got a full ride scholarship to USC. I decided to go to USC. Yeah, that's right.
My mom is a graduate of USC, and anytime somebody USC, I gotta be like dun 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 dun, dun with that hand.
So I decided to go Trojans. To USC. Yeah, USC Trojans. I played sports in I was doing everything in high school, academics, playing in the school band, making demo tapes with the homies. I started breakdancing when I was like middle school or something like that. Won a set of turntables in a breakdancing contest. Started DJing parties, so I was DJing parties.
Oh, you was that guy.
Middle school. Okay. Making money, use the money to buy some music production equipment. I started making beats and making songs in the neighborhood, making demos, doing talent shows. And, I would DJ the school dances as well while I was doing my calculus homework. I was doing it all in high school. And then, decided to go to USC.
I just pictured you on the turntables. Pick it, doom, goom, quadratic equations.
Yes, right. That was me, for real. People used to tease me, but hey, I had to get it done.
Mixing some schoolhouse rock into the mix.
Pretty much. And so yeah, I was like a cool nerd, basically, doing sports, music, and math. But yeah, I decided to go to USC because I wanted to get into the music business. Now, I was planning to be an engineer. I wasn't sure if it was going to be a mechanical or aerospace engineer, but that was what I planned on for my career. I didn't know anybody who did music professionally. It was a hobby. I was really passionate about it. But I didn't think of it as my path. But in college, I met this guy on my basketball team. So I walked on the USC Division I basketball team as a freshman, and there was this guy named Tremaine Ankrum who he introduced me to this woman named Leah Reese, who was another student at USC and produced music. Back then, she just having a keyboard, made you like a star. So she had a dope keyboard, and her boyfriend was this guy named Moto, and so they produced music together. We started making music as a team. Moto was this guy named AMG's rapper's best friend, and AMG was DJ Quick's best friend. So they started bringing me around that whole scene. And, I met DJ Quick before he came out with his first record. Met this DJ named DJ Trey Ski or DJ Techniques, who did all of the scratching for In Living Color. So we started making music together as well.
Hey, In Living Color.
Right. So I was just like getting into the mix in LA, and they needed a new theme song back in 93, 94. It's way back in the day. And Trey Ski, he only sampled, and I was playing a lot of original stuff. So he said, hey, let's do it together. We did the theme song. I came up with this laugh at the beginning. So if you hear the In Living Color theme song and you hear that laugh, that's me laughing all the way to the bank because we got paid and did that theme song for In Living Color. And
Yes.
that was like my big break and kind of turning point in my career where the start of my career where I said, hey, this engineering is great. But I feel like I want to do this music thing. And I said, I graduated with honors, but from then on, I was focused on being a musician, music producer. I did, I had a couple of different rap groups. One was called Three Ways, and HiiiWAV Records was trying to sign us. And this guy named Jeff Finster was an A&R there, and he said, "Man, I can hook you up with, if you sign with HiiiWAV Records, I can hook you up with all of our artists like Spice One, Too Short, E40." And so I ended up, he hired me to do a remix for Sprinkle Me, the new single for E40 at the time.
Yeah.
And 40 loved it. It ended up being, so if you look at the B-side of Sprinkle Me, I did the remix. I also did a song called Pay Styles remix with Too Short. I didn't end up signing with HiiiWAV Records, but I have had since then a very long relationship with E40. I've done like 40, more than 40 records with E40 over the years, including like half of the Element of Surprise, and had a major impact on In a Major Way. That album with 40, we did that in Atlanta. Nice. Produced like three songs and wrote and contributed to like most of the album, or good portion of the album. So went on to work with Kanye West on The College Dropout, and we won a Grammy for that album. I did the song Workout and played talkbox.
Hey, that's my
yes.
That workout. Workout.
Workout for me. So I started playing this instrument called the talkbox not long after graduation, when I got a record deal with Atlantic Records, and I used some of the money to buy a talkbox and build a studio. So I had this studio house in Los Angeles.
I'm sorry, before you continue, for those of us who are not, or not me, but for those in the audience who are not musically inclined, what is a talkbox?
A talkbox is this instrument, the instrument that you hear on songs like Computer Love, More Bounce to the Ounce, California Love. It sounds kind of like a computer singing. It's like an electronic voice. And you play it by playing either a guitar or a keyboard into an amp, and then the amp goes into a speaker, and the speaker goes into a tube, and the tube goes into your mouth, and then you open your mouth and turn those sounds that you're playing on your instrument into words. And so it was first kind of popularized by Peter Frampton early. He didn't invent it, but he was just one of the first guys to do it. Stevie Wonder was also doing it maybe before Peter Frampton, actually. And I got excited about it when I was breakdancing, listening to Zapp and Roger Troutman. And
hey.
Yeah. So as soon as I got the money to buy one, I bought one. And this DJ, I didn't know how to use it when I bought it. And so my friend DJ Battlecat, my friend Papa LQ he was really cool with DJ Battlecat, who knew how to play it. He had learned from Roger himself. So he showed me how to play it, and I started playing it on all my tracks. And, the rest is history, and I guess you could say in a lot of ways. But I started really using talkbox on a lot of records, including, with T.I. and Kanye and Flo Rida and Snoop and Janelle Monáe and
Come on.
Limp Bizkit and just
Fred Durst.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on.
Yep. I did this this album. It was called New Old Songs, and it was a remix album. The Neptunes produced a song. Timbaland produced a song. I produced a song. And at this time, I was like, one of the hottest, producers, at least on the West Coast. From all of the stuff I was doing in the Bay and
okay, dust your shoulder off a little bit.
Yeah. So, I was doing some big things, and I was rocking on the radio, West Coast Wednesdays with Felly Fell all the time. I would play Talkbox live, so I was really doing it. Fast forward to my ghetto report card with E40 in Atlanta. Little John, he heard this production tape that I had sent out that had this song called I'm just going to call it Just Cutting, Just Loving, Just Touching.
Oh, okay. Wink. Got it.
It's a little more explicit, but
just being an adult and doing adult activities.
Adulting.
Adult activities.
Yeah. And it was just I put it was this song with this one of my favorite beats I've ever made, and I had the hook on there, and I sent it out to a few different MCs, and like 8 Ball and MJG, and in Atlanta, and it somehow it got leaked, and it became like a hood classic in Atlanta. Lil Jon heard it and wanted. He was at that time he wanted to sign E40, and he said, "Man, I want to sign E40, and I want you to produce this song for E40." So he flew me out to Atlanta, and I worked with 40 for 2 weeks. We created the whole, My Ghetto Report Card album for the most part during those 2 weeks, including songs like Tell Me When to Go that I had, input into, Snap Your Fingers, You and That Booty, all,
bangers.
Yep, and the Just Adulting song that I talked about, that I sung the hook on. So that was my introduction to Atlanta. At that time, Atlanta was really blowing up in terms of all the music that was being produced there. So I decided to move to Atlanta not long after, and I bought a house out there and created a studio and started working with Big Boi, because we recorded most of My Ghetto Report Card at Big Boi's studio, Stankonia. Shout out to my homeboy Chris Carmouche, who was the engineer for a lot of those sessions, and he loved what I was doing with the talkbox, so he invited me to come play on a bunch of different Big Boi records, including a record called Shutterbug, which was his first big single, Big Boi's first big single as a solo artist, and was Grammy nominated, and big hit. That was that was crazy. You can see me in the video playing the talkbox with Big Boi, and they had all of these Muppets. So there's like a Muppet version of me playing the talkbox.
Okay.
We're like battling on the screen.
Okay, I got to go back and watch that, because clearly.
Yeah, you got to check it out. So, lots of good production opportunities happening. I got married a little bit before that. My wife and I had a son and decided to move back to Oakland. She was from Oakland. I had been, going back and forth to Oakland a lot, working with 40. I work with all of the biggest artists in the Bay pretty much during that time, from 40, Too Short, Drew Down, 3 Times Crazy, Spice One, Richie Rich, The Click.
Yes. All the town stars.
Be Legit, Sugar T, all of them. So I was like entrenched in the Bay culture.
Yeah. So how did you get back to Oakland?
So my wife and I decided to move back to Oakland after we had our son. We wanted to be closer to family. My mom lives in Portland. Her mom and dad lived in Oakland, and her, she's 5th generation Oakland, which she will proudly tell you.
Yee.
Yee. That's right. So it was a good look. We moved back to Oakland, and I loved it. I really love Oakland. I mean, I had been coming back and forth working, but I still didn't really have a sense of what it was like to live in Oakland. And it was like a great combination of the Bay, I mean, of Portland and Los Angeles, where I'd spent a lot of time in terms of like great weather compared to Portland, and better than LA too, because it wasn't so hot and it wasn't smoggy, but then it was close to the water and the ocean and close to the mountains. So that reminded me of Portland, and the people were super progressive. And I feel like the Bay has this magical kind of mix of optimism from the folks that are in technology and have built, companies that have gone from nothing to billion-dollar companies, and people that are super progressive, politically and socially. So there's all these, really groundbreaking ideas about how the world should be, changed. The combination of those two is just like, I love it. Plus, yeah, it's a place for me.
Yes, the Bay Area is a very welcoming, diverse place.
Yes.
I'm born and raised here, and you know, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like the Bay Area magic.
Yeah, that's right. And you had and the music culture, I was already like, the West Coast, but then it's unique. The Bay has this, like, it's its own, musical place, even though it's on the West Coast. It's not West Coast, it's not East Coast, it's Bay. So
Yeah, there's a very distinct sound.
yeah, a distinct sounds. There's all kinds of music here, and it has its own sound, and it has lots of diversity. So,
ever wanted to stay in a historic Victorian house while exploring the roots of hip hop? B Love's Guest House invites you to a special retreat with Tracy Bartlow, a renowned hip hop photojournalist. Enjoy exclusive stay, gallery tours, artist talks, and the chance to network with fellow creatives. Visit belovesguesthouse.com to book your spot today and be part of this unique experience.
Yep, love the Bay. So, moved to the Bay. I went through this incubator. I got invited to apply to. Oh, let me tell you how this happened. So I was looking for a studio because we had moved to the Bay. I had a studio at my father-in-law's house, but then it came time to sell that house when his mom, which is my 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 grandmother-in-law, I don't know how you say that, when she passed, decided to sell that house, and so I needed to find a studio. My best friend from Portland, Cool Nuts, he's a rapper, radio personality, manager up there. He said Chief XL has a studio you should check out. So I called Chief XL. Chief was like, "Oh man, you a legend, bro. I grew up on your shit." And so, man, come use my studio anytime. So I started using his studio, and his studio was in this building in this organization called Zoo Labs, which is an incubator for musicians.
Yes. Shout out to Zoo Labs.
Shout out to Zoo Labs. So met Vanitha Watson and Dave Watson, and Vanitha invited me to apply to Zoo Labs because I had an idea to create a new portable version of the talkbox called ElectroSpit. She said, "Yeah, you gotta, apply, but you gotta be part of a team." So I said, "Well, I need a team." I called my wife and said, "You want to be on my team?" And she's like, "Yeah, I guess I can."
That's the best partner there is.
That's right. She's already on my team, but she hadn't been part of this particular team in the company that we're making. Also brought on a guy named Lance Coleman, who's an MC and digital media strategist, and my friend Pete Miser, who was a producer and a visual artist and MC. And we created ElectroSpit and went through the incubator. We looked into the future and we realized that that music production technology. We looked into the past and we saw music production had gone from being in the big studio to on the desktop computer and laptop computer, and we saw the future as being people recording using their phone. So we said, well, maybe we can make the ElectroSpit talk box a way of using the talk box with your phone. And we started making prototypes, and we came up with a vision for how to do it, where you could replace people's voice and change their voice into new voices. And we built the ElectroSpit talk box, and we did a Kickstarter to fund it, which went viral. Had David Guetta in the Kickstarter, and
oh snap,
and Just Blaze saw it and got super excited and shared it. It blew up. Got funded in like 48 hours.
Oh, come on, 48 hours.
Yeah. Now all this took some time, putting this all together.
Yeah, of course.
And lots of trials and tribulations and whatever. But we got the funding to do the initial run of manufacturing. I flew to China. We had planned to manufacture in China. Got out there to Shenzhen and realized that we had to do some additional development in order to manufacture over there. And so came back, started working on additional development, which got expensive. And it took time. All the people who had ordered on Kickstarter were getting antsy. So we had to do another crowdfunding campaign for investors. One of the people who we met during that crowdfunding campaign with this company called Micro Ventures, I put out an Instagram video talking about, I did a cover of a Stevie Wonder song and a split screen of me playing with Stevie. I played the ElectroSpit and he was playing the talk box. And I said, man, wouldn't it be dope if I could meet Stevie Wonder? This was a Friday. This guy on Instagram, Mike Phillips, hit me and said, hey, I love what you're doing with this talk box. I want to try it. Can I check it out? And I said, yeah, but I only have one of them. At that time, I only had one ElectroSpit. And he said, well, I'm going to be in San Francisco on Monday. Can you come show it to me and to Stevie Wonder? And I was like,
yo, he said, yeah.
I think I could do that.
Right. He's like, oh, if you have time, just, me and Steve.
Just me and Steve. So sure enough, the Monday after I posted that thing, I was in the Four Seasons Hotel with Stevie Wonder showing him the ElectroSpit talk box. And he played it, loved it. He was playing, all kinds of his classic records on the talk box, on the ElectroSpit. You can see on my Instagram, there's a picture of me and Stevie I got the biggest smile probably I ever had in my life on like meeting my musical idol, and he loves the thing that I created. And it was just like a dream come true. So we went on, he went on to use it in the 50th anniversary theme song of Sesame Street. So if you look at that special, you'll see Stevie Wonder playing the ElectroSpit talk box on the special. And I'm going to play a little bit of the talk box just so people know what the talk box sounds like. So
yes, please.
Yeah.
So play a little bit of it, and then we're going to take a short break.
Yeah. So talk box sounds like this. California love, California, outside a party. California, no side party. ElectroSpit, baby. And you can play. So the way that it works, the sound comes out of the phone into the ElectroSpit, which looks like a set of headphones that goes around your neck. The sound goes through your neck, out of your mouth, and you don't sing. You're totally silent, and you mouth the words, and that turns the sound into words or into singing. And you can also play chords like chords like this, and then you can play songs like tonight I just wanna take you higher. And yeah, you can get down on the ElectroSpit. You can also use it. People who have lost their voice can use this to sing and to talk. So it has a medical use.
Yes.
So definitely, super proud of creating this instrument. We've been selling it worldwide. I played it on the Dua Lipa's Levitating, which is the number 11 song of all time, streaming. So yeah, so we were able to raise more money to fund the manufacturing. We were going to manufacture in China in 2019, but our shipments kept getting delayed, and we didn't know why. This was the end of 2019, so we decided to manufacture in Oakland. And shout out to Zoo Labs again; they allowed us to manufacture in their building free of charge, which was huge because
come on, free.
Yeah, we needed that support
for the free. Yes.
Yeah, for the freezy,
Mhm.
and so we started shipping in March. In March we also won the Guthman Award, which is like the Grammys of electronic musical instruments. So we were selected as the top electronic musical instrument to come out that year, and everything was going good, and then the pandemic hit. And we realized that the reason our shipment in China was getting delayed is because of the pandemic out there, COVID. I was already working with this group called Runway in Oakland. That is an incredible organization led by Jessica Norwood and Nina Robinson, Ronnie Kroger, and they helped fund ElectroSpit, but we also were part of these peer group circles working with other entrepreneurs. And during the pandemic, I was there was a point where I was, I would say kind of depressed about what was going on, and our sales had stopped, and other entrepreneurs were having different experiences. They were like, our sales are up. Things are, we pivoted, we're doing online promotions, and that inspired me to change our promotion strategies. I started doing this series, Talkbox Tuesdays, where I, do a live interview with some of my favorite Talkbox artists, including, Battle Cat, Mr. Talkbox, and Fingers, many of the top talk boxers, and we got a lot of traction on that. Sales started picking back up, and 2020 ended up being a huge year for us in sales. So, huge shout out to Runway. Then after, kind of in the middle of the year, as we know, George Floyd was murdered, and the situation with the protests and the incubator Zoo Labs, they decided to shut down their physical location. And so that opportunity to use that space was no longer going to be available to the artists in the community. And because it had been so impactful for us in ElectroSpit, I decided I wanted to buy the building and provide that resource to the community. So I started, which was originally called the Black Music Entrepreneurship Incubator, a nonprofit. We started fundraising, applying for grants. It took us about 2 years, almost 3 years. We did not actually buy that building. We ended up buying a different building. Someone else outbid us on that particular building, but we were able to buy the building at 2781 Telegraph, which is actually a better fit for our organization. And it's been, we've been there a year now, and we're, not only offering the building as a space for community events and performances. For example, we just did HiiiWAV Fest, which had Just Blaze as a headliner and The Far Side as a headliner, and also artists like Name Drummer, Soul Lauren, Honey Gold Jasmine, Prospect Band, all performing.
So the purchase of this building was the birth of HiiiWAV.
That's right. HiiiWAV was intended to provide a space for our artists who were being displaced. And we did that initially by renting out the Zulab building and then by purchasing the building on at 2781 Telegraph. And, so that's a permanent location for the organization.
Wonderful. Right now, we're going to take a short break and then we're going to jump back in more into HiiiWAV. To catch up on previous episodes of The Black Landscape, download on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, and Spotify. Be sure to leave a review, 5 stars if you love us. If you don't, still share. When we come back, we'll hear more from Bosko. And we're back with Bosko Kante. So tell me more about HiiiWAV. You said before it was originally providing a space for artists who could not get support elsewhere. And that was including space, including engineering, right?
Yeah. Space to record, space to perform, network, capital, community. We created an incubator where we would take artists, or we still do, we take artists through a process of learning design thinking, how to create pitch decks, futures thinking, business model design, how to understand their customers and their fans better, how to create products, how to manage their finances, legal, ramifications and issues to consider.
Yes, that's what people need the help with.
Yeah.
Finance and legal.
Yeah, finance and legal. So a complete support system. And then we teach people how to use technology to create new products and services. So instead of just relying on gigs and streaming, which can be very unpredictable, they build something which is that they can sell, in the same model as ElectroSpit. So for me, I'm selling this hardware talkbox. In addition to, if people like my music, they might want to buy the instrument. And we've generated about $1 million in sales of the ElectroSpit talkbox. So
come on, get your money up.
Yeah. So it's significant. And we have hopes that we know that some of the artists that we work with will do even better with the things that they create. And, we teach them how to use our augmented reality. We have a partnership with Meta, artificial intelligence, all kinds of digital technology, hardware technology. So, and then, there's all these incredible founders that we're working with now that are going through our incubator. Folks like Kev Choice, who just won our latest round of Afro AI. We created a specific program called Afro AI to help musicians use artificial intelligence. And he has this project called Choice Scores, where you can turn an MP3 into a full orchestral score, and then musicians can play it live. He found that a lot of music, especially music created by Black artists, is never transcribed, and so it means that it's not performed as much or at all by musicians in symphonic spaces or jazz spaces. And one of the solutions is to use technology to create those scores. So that's like a really creative use of artificial intelligence. Another team called Guru that has an AI powered voice assistant that helps people who they can use their phone to record music, and they don't have to have knowledge of how to use complicated software, and they can still record high quality. So it's like Siri for Pro Tools or something.
I love that.
Yeah. So just being on the cutting edge and helping artists, basically we are that thing that makes Oakland special to me, or one of the things that makes Oakland special, is that intersection of technology, social impact, and culture. And we infuse that in the projects that we're making. Each one of those projects, like I described, it's music, it's led by an artist, it's technology like artificial intelligence or hardware, and it all has a social impact in some way. Somehow it's supporting the community, it's uplifting people, and that's what that's my mission. That's my purpose, bringing more of that to the Bay Area and to the world. So,
what advice would you have for anyone looking to follow in your similar footsteps, whether it's music production or even at this point, connecting audio engineering with technology and pushing the needle?
Hit me up.
You said connect direct.
Yeah, just hit me because that is what I'm doing right now is building the path for folks to turn that talent and that interest into a career, into a sustainable business, a profitable business. So check out the resources that we have at HiiiWAV, and we're one of the things that we're building is educational technology. So check out our workshops. I would say, this is like a magical time in terms of access to information. You can go on YouTube and learn anything. You can use ChatGPT and Claude and the different artificial intelligent Llama 3.1 now, and ask any question and get an answer, instantly, plus instructions. And so it's like the information is there. So just get started, start making things, start building, and you'll learn as you're creating.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for talking with us today, Bosko.
My pleasure. My pleasure, Andrea. It's good to be here, and it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to share the information. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, tell the audience where they can find you and HiiiWAV.
You can find me at HiiiWAV, which is HiiiWAV. So HiiiWAV.org, at HiiiWAV on Instagram, and follow us. Check us out on the web. Sign up for the newsletter to hear about different events that are happening. We have free events all the time. You can follow ElectroSpit. That's ElectroSpit. So at ElectroSpit on Instagram and electrospit.com if you're interested in buying an ElectroSpit talkbox, or just hearing some of the music that I've created with it, or seeing some of the videos and folks like Stevie Wonder and Just Blaze and David Guetta playing the instruments. So Bosko Live. I also have I have 3 profiles, but so that's BOSKOLIVE. If you want to check me out on Instagram, just hear some of my own music. So
thank you. And these links will be in our show notes. Tap in and support Black creativity.
Yes, absolutely. We appreciate you.
Thank all of you out there for listening and supporting another season. Again, leave a review of the show on Apple Podcasts or in the comments of our social media. This has been another episode of The Black Landscape with Andrea Spearman, where Black excellence is always trending.
No.